I'm Kevin Jacobsen of Gold Derby, here with Laverne Cox, one of the stars of Inventing Anna on Netflix. And I would love to know, just to start, because I don't know how much you played real people before, just how daunting that was to play Kacy Duke, someone who not only is a real person, but is still alive and can just very easily watch your work, for example.
Well, this is the first time I've had that experience. And leading up to, I was trying to be calm, but leading up to the premiere of Inventing Anna, I was sort of in a panic. I was in a panic because I was like, oh my God, I hope Kacy doesn't hate it. Now, I had the privilege of getting to meet Kacy and to train with her. She's a personal trainer in real life, obviously, and had a 4-hour lunch with her. So I got to talk to her, got to train with her several times. I adore her, and I just wanted her not to hate it and to think that I had done justice to her and her life and story. And so there was a lot of anxiety leading up to the premiere of the show. And now a lot of relief because people have watched. I mean, there's also that. It's like, well, people watch, and people have not only watched in record numbers, apparently, they also seem to really have enjoyed the show. And two moments, well, three moments actually. Kacy sent me flowers and told me I killed it. And someone tweeted to me, I forget their name, and they said they've known Kacy for 20 years and said that I nailed it. And when I was at the Grammys, I'm checking into the red carpet, Lenny Kravitz walked by, and then he saw me and he came back and he said, thank you so much. You did such a great job of portraying my friend of 30 years, Kacy Duke. And I was sort of like, obviously my research, I had learned that, Kacy had trained Lenny. He actually, for me, famously said about Kacy that she does some Michelangelo shit when she sort of trains her body, because she's into creating long, sinuous muscles and not like bulky muscles. So that was really, really special to hear from Mr. Kravitz. I had never met him before. So there's relief now, and that's nice. But yes, I was freaked out beyond belief. I'm playing a real life person. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I give
Well,
long answers, as you know.
no, it's good. Yeah. What's interesting with her, though, is that it's not like you could really say that she got duped necessarily by Anna, at least compared to other people in that
Indeed.
world. But
Yeah.
how would you describe just why she got as involved with Anna as she did?
Well, it's not for Kacy. She is a personal trainer and a life coach. It is not unusual for her to travel with clients. As I mentioned, she's trained Lenny Kravitz, Denzel Washington, Julianne Moore. I mean, the list is very, very long. Eve, Mary J. Blige. So it's really not unusual for her to, travel with clients or be on set with the clients. So her going to Morocco with Anna is not unusual for her. For her, it was a job. I think it was really different for her than it was for the other, these sort of people in Anna's life, or victims of Anna, if you want to call them that. She was there to do a job. She never got recouped the money that she got for the airline ticket. She there were several personal training sessions that she did not get paid for as well, but she did get money up front. That's why she took Anna on. My understanding is that it's from the loan that Anna got. I think she got a $200,000 loan from a bank. And when she was throwing money around, she, paid for a package up front with Kacy. And so that's how she got involved. She was just there to do her job.
Right. Yeah. And episode 6, I would say, just your big episode where we really get to hear her side of the story, and it's the big trip to Marrakesh, and she left early because of food poisoning, and it's a whole thing.
Yeah.
But then we also see Anna really guilting her into staying with her later on, and it's a whirlwind, let's just say that. Can you talk about just what is running through Kacy's mind during that whole experience, and how her feelings are changing, like how you personally got into that episode?
It was so much fun, and it was such a delight. It was such a delight to, when I got the story initially, when I was told about it, I read the pilot, and then I became obsessed and read everything I could about the story, and then just was like, obsessed with it. It was 2019 when Shonda approached me to do this. And then I got to meet Kacy and I heard, her side of this Morocco story, her side of the situation with Anna, as well as Kacy's life story, and was just deeply intrigued by it. And then seeing Shonda's take on it. And so it was so much fun to play. And Zinga Stewart directed that episode, and she was so wonderful. It's a roller coaster for Kacy. And I think the big piece for me, the writer's room had done an interview with Kacy, and they were talking about that moment when Kacy's with her gentleman caller, Brian, and Anna shows up at her apartment downstairs. And Kacy said, when she threatened suicide, she knew that would get to me, because if that girl had committed suicide, I didn't want that on my hands. And so that was really a turning point when Anna suggested that she might harm herself. And so I think that for Kacy, she really wants to be of service. Her entire life has been about being of service, and perhaps so much so that it becomes a fatal flaw or tragic flaw. And I always, when I'm preparing a character, I always like to start with the tragic flaw. My acting coach encourages me to start with the unfulfilled need, but I like to start with the tragic flaw and kind of work my way backwards. Often the tragic flaw is what you can, is also what you can play. Susan Batson, my acting mentor, defines the tragic flaw of a character as the tension between the character's unfulfilled need and their public persona. And often it manifests itself in addiction, or in I think in Kacy's situation, sort of being overly protective of or taking care of people, having the desire to be of service so much that it can almost sort of go into that space of codependence, or it not always being healthy in terms of boundaries. So that's where I sort of like to start. So I think underneath all of that, Kacy ultimately wants to be of service, and that's why she does what she does, and that's how she got in as deep with Anna. I mean, I think the intervention moment is a really good example of that Kacy actually, sort of instigated this intervention. It was really about being of service. And even in that interview with the writer's room, she was still saying, I still think I could have helped her. I still think I could have gone through to her, And so I think that is what deeply motivates Kacy in a way that is fascinating on so many different levels.
Yeah. I mean, Kacy is a fascinating person that you could even have your own show about,
Absolutely. Can I tell you, I was preparing for this today, and I went through some of my notes that I take notes when I'm preparing. And Kacy has so many mantras and has so many kind of Kacyisms. I am, I can, I do, mindset, motivation, movement. She wrote a book called The Show It Love Workout. She says you have to show your love the body you have to get the body you want. Show it love. My favorite thing that she said when we were talking, when we talked, she said the past is our teacher, the present is our creation, and the future is our inspiration, which is just brilliant. So she just has all these Kacyisms. Movement is a privilege. If you can move, you should. And so she sort of has a mantra for everything. And that was fun to play. The whole I'm a bad bitch thing that kind of recurs in the show is like so much fun. But what Kacy actually says, navel to spine, tits out, get your bad bitch on. Which is just fabulous. She's she's fantastic. And I always like to say when I talk about Kacy too, that she's a pioneer in the fitness business. She is, one of the co-founders of Equinox, the first 3 Equinox gyms that were opened in New York City. Kacy, sort of spearheaded that. She hired all the staff. She helped design the space. She is a pioneer in her industry, and, people should know that, and she should get her flowers as a fitness pioneer.
Absolutely. Really quick, I also just want to know about working off of the very enigmatic energy that Julia Garner is bringing as Anna. And, she in real life, Anna being someone that people were so drawn to. Yes. Did you find yourself sort of drawn to her as well in this part?
Absolutely. The first scene that I shot with Julia was the intervention scene. And I had no idea what she was going to do. We had a table read and she was kind of played around a little bit. You know, she was playing with the accent for this first table read. But once we got to set, there was this fully realized character. And that intervention is so good. There was a moment, you know, spoiler alert, there's a moment when Kacy says that, you know, the building has been sold and she's, and there's the realization that Anna has in that, but there's just like, Julia has a beat that has probably 4 or 5, maybe even 6 layers in it. So you see all these wheels turning of the deception, of the dream, sort of crumbling around her, the jig being up and her having to kind of get out of there. I mean, there's just so many things. Julia works on so many different levels. And I had the privilege of doing a movie with her in 2015 called Grandma. So I worked with her before, and I'm a huge Ozark fan, huge, and she's just incredible. I mean, like, honey, if she doesn't get an Emmy for this last season, I mean, that was a performance. So I'm a fan, and she's a dear friend. And psychologically, what she understands about Anna was so, I was like, I just was sort of blown away by the choices and blown away by the layers of humanity that she brought to this woman. It's a very exciting performance. And what's deep, you know, my boyfriend, you know, the accent was something that, like, you know, is very, I mean, her accent's become a meme. I mean, everyone sort of talks like Anna now. I mean, I can't do it now, but like, it's broadcast, you know, and so there's been a Saturday Night Live sketch about her accent. And so it's like, but I saw an interview with the real Anna Delvey, and she sounds like that. She sounds like that. Julia completely nailed it. So it's fun. But you also, it's such a fun performance, but you really invest in the dream that she has. And that has to happen in the writing. Shout out to Chandra Rhimes and the writing team. It has to happen in the writing. And then the director has to support that. And then Julia was like, so that all of a sudden we're rooting for Anna, but then also kind of like it's like this back and forth of like wanting her to succeed. At least I was rooting for Anna. And that is a testament to the writing. It's a testament to Julia, and what a ride this show is. And it's just been such a pleasure. Particularly, I've been lucky to I work all the time, but most people know me for Orange is the New Black. And what has been so lovely about this is that now people, because so many people have watched this, people, you know know me for this. And that's not bad, you know, that's not bad at all, to have 2 roles that a lot of people have seen and have connected with. That's a very beautiful thing, and I'm really grateful for it.
Yeah, well, I'm sure that we will have more than 2 roles in the future from you.
Yeah, I mean, obviously there's more, but like, you know,
yeah.
That masses, you know, millions of people all over the world have seen. We were number 5 for like 2 months. We were in the top 5.
I know, it was crazy.
For like I was like, how people are watching. And then when I finally went out into the world, like I was like, oh, people are watching, you know. It's very exciting. It's very, very exciting. So thank you to everyone who's watching Inventing Anna and talking about it and telling your friends to watch. It's just such a privilege to, you know, be involved in a project that seems to touch a moment. There's somehow, you know, we've captured a moment, but that's Shonda though. That's Shonda. And it's Anna. It's Anna Delvey.
Yeah.
She
it's a powerful combo, I would say.
I think today, last thing I'll say, she has an art exhibit. We got invited to an art exhibit. The real Anna Delvey is an art exhibit of her art from the ICE Detention Center. She's in ICE now, but she has a gallery opening today. Thursday, what is the date? Thursday, May 19th or 18th, Thursday, tomorrow. May 19th is tomorrow night. She has an art opening. That's not brilliant?
I mean, that just says it all, right?
It really does.
Well, for those of you watching, subscribe for more interviews and go to goldderby.com to make your Emmy predictions. Always a pleasure, Laverne. Thank you.
Thank you so much.